that Sarajevo was on the list as a place, I should say. I didn't know that.
Never have I thought of places where I need to escape. So I'm not really trying to come up with any of these countries.
But let me give you a menu, just in case you had to skedaddle. Okay?
Yeah, so Bosnia-Herzegovina is on there. That I've learned. But what else is on there?
Well, let's see. Russia and China have non-extradition status. So if you want to go big, you can go big. If you're more into
I don't know if I'm going to Russia anytime soon.
If you want
for safety.
Yeah, and like maybe you like the food, maybe you don't. This is really an individual choice, Izzy. I'm just going to give you a menu. Okay. You can choose. Cuba's on there. Long on hot weather, probably real bad on capital controls, right? So you got to consider. Yeah. I'm going to be the economist here, okay? I got one hand and another hand, okay? One's good, one's bad. I'm just going to tell you. And finally, if you want, Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam are all on the list, as is Tunisia, if you need a place that's a little bit drier but still warm.
That's
is disturbing,
pretty good.
But I'm writing a list.
That's pretty good.
Perfect segue into sports.
You're telling me, wait, Spencer, you're telling me I could eat banh mi and never be prosecuted for counterfeiting U.S. currency for the rest of my life? That would be tremendous.
Pablo, it's never about whether the government's going to find you. It's whether the guy you gave the 100 to is going to. He might fly to Vietnam just to give you those hands. It's entirely possible.
It feels like Izzy, by the way, has already fled to somewhere that he cannot be found on. How do you have a fancy green screen and we don't?
I don't know, but I definitely love this. What is this? Shawshank Life over here?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's a lot better than that library I used to be in.
I'm also realizing, Izzy, I haven't seen you since you recovered from the thing that gave you the Band-Aid, so I hope that
recovered
was not
hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
Still recovering. I'm just, hard at work anyway.
If you look really closely, you can see a gnarly scar above my right eyebrow and right here above my lip, right where it was
Split in half. I did not mean to give America the finger right there. I apologize, but
we saw it.
Now I got a little character to my face. It's not as perfect as it used to be, but
wait,
give it time.
Izzy, have you explained? You haven't explained it to me. Like, are you comfortable saying what actually happened? Can Spencer be brought into
You know what's
the
funny to me?
circle
It is funny to
trust?
me, and this is, of course, where we should start. It's funny how when you have like a facial wound, like people are so nervous to talk about it. But if you're wearing a cast, they're asking for every detail and writing their life story on it. Yeah, I fell off a scooter, busted my face, felt like looked like a fighter, like I had a big old eye for a couple of days. And I had some stitches here, and it's all healing. Nothing wrong with my eye, nothing wrong with my teeth, so it's all good.
You should just tell people it's a bar fight. That's what I always do.
Yeah, I would get into that. But then, that's just largely irresponsible. I'd rather them just think I'm a clumsy idiot. But I appreciate you, Pablo, because nobody at ESPN cares more about my face and my looks, frankly, than you do. So thank you for being consistent as always.
I'm just glad your torso remains intact. We got to protect the moneymakers. That's.
I did go about 3 full weeks without the gym. If I was a little, not really feeling it.
Oh, I'm sure it's real bad.
You might be a little disappointed in me.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
Hey, my floating torso. Those are good days.
I feel like when you claim that you got in a bar fight and people ask, well, who did you fight? You just show them a picture of Spencer. Spencer would be fine with it, right?
This guy.
Like you could cosplay the guy who fought Izzy in a bar.
Yeah, I'll lie. I'll be like, that dude, hands for days. Put him on me, and it was mean. Be like greatest hitters of his generation, right? Like we'll be like Tyson Fury, Ernie Shavers, and Izzy. Those three.
And then you'll show them the picture of me at the hospital and say, well, wait a second. That doesn't look like the guy who won the fight.
Yeah. But look what happened to me. You hit me so hard I grew a beard.
That's right. So that is Spencer Hall down here. That is Izzy Gutierrez healing beautifully over there. I'm me. Welcome to Debatable. It's a fake television show where we clearly debate the most important topics in the world, like where should we go when we're fleeing the guy who's trying to chase us down because we gave him counterfeit money. Alabaster, where are we actually starting the sports portion of today's proceedings?
Our first trending topic. It's not really a trending topic at all. Would you guys please tweet out the show link so people will watch us?
Already done.
Okay.
Already done.
So, topic number one, get some viewers. Done.
Yeah. Hey, would you guys, the first topic is please smash the heart button. Please, for the love of God, smash that heart. All right, fine. There you go. Hold on.
Retweet. All right,
We
done.
need you to tweet the show so we can develop an army of simps.
That's right. That's right.
We already got
Nina's
that.
army of simps is not immediately transferable, and so we need to develop our own apparently, which has been disappointing to learn.
But
That's
our
fine.
first trending topic is the Seahawks season cooked?
So, I mean, this is a question that I want to say yes to because I do like laughing at Mina's Seahawks and Seattle Seahawks fans everywhere. But it does feel, guys, like if there is any team for whom the 17th game is going to matter, it will be the Seattle Seahawks. Like, I want to say that, no, it's over. Like, they've lost again. Like, Russell Wilson, the lack of him has made it clear that Geno Smith is not going to be the guy who could win a game that is within one score with 3 minutes left to go. Yeah, so that's happened 3 straight times now. And they badly need the guy who was allegedly cooking too much. I just feel like the Seahawks are the sort of team that will have their lives come down in the weirdest, most extreme possible way. And that means they're going to be in this until week 18/the 17th game.
I spent the entire minute, no offense, Pablo, wondering if anybody actually cooks Seahawks, because I feel like all birds are ripe or available. And I don't think I've seen a cooking show where a Seahawk could be cooked, so I feel like that's probably a good choice for a mascot. It's interesting how, like, depending on what you read, Pete Carroll and the GM over there in Seattle, like, should be gone right now. Or, as you're talking about there, as you can see there, all the three losses that they had, even without Russell Wilson, but the losses that they had have been very close, and it just makes you think, okay, maybe they can, recover from this. They got Jacksonville next week, they've got a bye after that, and Russell Wilson's supposed to be back after that, but it just makes me wonder, what are we doing all of this for if I'm Seattle? Like, you traded Jamal Adams for those first-round draft picks, and that was probably not a great move. Are you Super Bowl ready and prepared this year? I don't know. Is your offense necessarily up to date? Doesn't seem like it. Is it just basically DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett saving you out there? I don't know, but it doesn't feel like this is a team that's prepared to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. So I'm with those sort of leaning on the side of, yeah, it's over, not just for this year, but for this era of, Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, first of all, Pablo's right. This is going to be a 9-7 team that's just going to edge in last minute. We're going to get like the last 2 minutes of the season. The regular season will be 9-8. They will be 9-8. They will be 9-8. I keep forgetting we get an extra game because the idea of playing one more NFL game seems so preposterous. It's like, yeah, here, listen, we're going to beat you with baseball bats for an extra 5 seconds. An extra 5. It doesn't seem like much, but that's 5 seconds of taking the worst beating of your life, aka playing a full NFL game. All right. The other thing is this: that when are we rebuilding? It is so hard for me to say when a team needs to rebuild because quarterbacks have such varying and potentially wild longevity. I know Brady's completely skewed the curve for this, but we're still talking about Aaron Rodgers in the year 2021. Russell Wilson, I know he's had injury. He's 32. He's 32. That feels like a youngster at this point. It used to be the tail end. A quarterback would hit 30 and you'd go, he's got like 2 or 3 more years. Now, I don't know. You might have another decade ahead of you.
No, Spencer, Russell Wilson at 32, if you translate like dog years into Ben Roethlisberger years, like he is an infant. Like Russell Wilson and his nano bubbles, he will be doing all sorts of weird cryotherapies in the year 2031 that we don't even know about yet.
And then he'll have cornrows, and he'll remind you how old he really is. I do think he's the type of guy that, he ages pretty well. It's not like he's crazy fast. He just avoids hits. If you never get hit, you're going to stay in the league a lot longer. And yeah, I mean, you've already heard the conversations. They were having conversations. I forget which broadcast I was watching at the time, but they're already talking about Russell Wilson potentially going to Green Bay next year. Forget this year. Forget recovering and, helping the Seahawks, eke into the playoffs. They're already talking about a new time for him and going back to Wisconsin and trying to win professionally there. So I just don't know if it's going to come together for this team. I think, if they surprisingly lose to Jacksonville, maybe they make severe changes at the bye and not just cross their fingers and hope Russell Wilson comes back.
Also, the thing putting the pressure on them, the neighborhood got rough. The neighborhood got rough fast with the emergence of the Cardinals, which I don't think anybody I think they anticipated better. They didn't anticipate the cartoon heroism of Kyler Murray in that offense. I don't think anyone was ready for that. And I don't think anyone was ready for the Rams to stay this consistently good. I think some people were maybe like, Sean McVay, he had a year, everyone will adjust. Surprise! We got an actual Viking at quarterback. We're good.
Yeah, no, if you went to Seahawks fans and you were like, hey, guess what? The San Francisco 49ers are going to be, what are they, like 2-4 right now? Whatever it is, they're going to be that. You would take that, and then you would get the rest of the picture filled out, and that vengeful genie would laugh at you in the end. Because, yeah, you're at the bottom of the standings. Congratulations. Kyler Murray, by the way, if you're Russell Wilson, you do have to feel some sense of like, oh, you're the A-list actor. Like, how does Brad Pitt feel about Timothée Chalamet? Like, that's how I would be concerned if I was Russell Wilson. Like, oh, this guy kind of does the stuff that I could do, but also he's like smaller and wafier and is more popular right now.
I have a question for you, Pablo. Do you think Russell Wilson knows who Timothée Chalamet is?
Took me a second. I had to like go through the Rolodex there. But look, I mean, can I stay on Matt Stafford and the Rams for a second?
Izzy, I feel like Russell Wilson. Well, you know what? I was going to say Russell Wilson has definitely streamed Dune at this point, but all I see him doing is doing the thing where he's pantomiming like 2-minute drills. And so maybe he's just doing that the entire time. I retract. He probably does not know who he is.
Yeah.
Well, stay in the division there. And like, I don't know about you guys, I saw Matt Stafford throw a pretty slick no-look pass. The type that if Patrick Mahomes threw it, we'd be talking about it for the next 5 or 6 weeks, actually. And that dude with Cooper Kupp at his disposal, man, you could plan to throw that dude every single play, and he'll be that open at the very least. It doesn't matter how many people are covering him. So I feel like Russell Wilson and the Seahawks have bet the third billing right now in that division, just in terms of like guys you want to watch, and that they have DK Metcalf on that team. So like they just the neighborhood did get pretty rough really quickly.
Alabaster, what do we have next?
All right. Our next topic is some more football. What does it tell you that Kyle Shanahan is sticking with Jimmy G over Trey Lance?
I mean,
he's never happy, is he, Kyle Shanahan? He just can't be.
Yeah, I mean he's a perfectionist, sure, but also tells me he has a weakness for handsome men because there is no man more gloriously handsome, objectively speaking, than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Golden ratio. Spencer, it's golden ratio shit, right? It's like when they invent, like the Vitruvian Man is Jimmy Garoppolo. Like you go back into artifacts. And
so you're saying I can quarterback for Kyle Shanahan? Got you.
No, I mean, it also is this that I think that not to get too in the psychologist chair, but there is a track record. Kyle Shanahan has seen what happens when you rush a young quarterback. You can ruin a young quarterback if you rush them, and I think he's taken that pretty seriously. The plan has been to bring Trey Lance along slowly. We might be a little bit further along if injury hadn't sidelined him. And this goes back to like, let's make football easy. Do you have a quarterback or do you not have a quarterback? Again, this is what the NFC West is about. This is what pretty much every football team at every level is about if you're not like Georgia, right? Do you have a quarterback? And they don't really have a quarterback who's going to make the difference.
I think they probably watched that Tampa Bay Chicago game and said, I don't want to put my rookie in that situation right there. Justin Fields was just attacked and looked terrible. And you talk in the long term, hey, can that type of stuff damage somebody? Yeah, I feel like we're all looking at the rookie quarterbacks now and saying, all right, we were enamored, yes, but nobody was going to come in and set the world on fire. So even if you have a Jimmy G that doesn't look great, let's not expect Trey Lance to come in and save everybody.
Well, especially when Trey Lance is more than any of the other rookie quarterbacks who are supposed to be franchise cornerstones, the guy who is supposed to run the most. And he's the most raw. I mean, Spencer, like, I do think it's worth reiterating this for people who, like, are not so familiar with his college football track record, like, what Trey Lance was to people who closely followed the sport, because that guy being thrown in front of NFL defenses and being asked to do the stuff where he moves around and breaks out of the pocket, like, all of that is very impressive and also kind of terrifying, right?
There's also this, okay? When you draft a Trey Lance, he was playing an offense where you do have to make a lot of sort of pro-style, back-to-your-defense kind of reads where you're throwing off play action, a lot of those sort of old-school QB things. The other thing he wasn't doing a lot of, though, was passing 30 or 40 times a game. Go back and look. He has very few actual passing reps relative to, say, some of his colleagues who might have come out of a more pass-friendly offense, one of those college air raid attacks. So it's not just that he's raw. All right, there's immense potential. It's that the competition he was playing against, the windows are going to look completely different. The speed is going to look completely different. And the offense is going to call on him not only to do a lot more in terms of cognition and recognizing patterns, it's going to call on him to actually do his job more than he did in, say, North Dakota State, which run first, big old blocking tight ends, like super Midwestern football. Not exactly what he's going to be dealing with the 49ers.
Yeah, so look, this is Alabaster puts down a good quote because this does speak to like what is the implication of all of this, right? When you deem Trey Lance not ready, basically what you're saying is, well, we're not playing for this season anymore. And that's the implication because that's everybody is, I mean, I shouldn't say everybody, but so much of NFL Twitter at least is saying, look, if it's Jimmy G, you're not going anywhere. At the very least, roll the dice with the guy, right?
Yeah, and this is the frustrating part about being Kyle Shanahan. This is a thing that you sort of hear in his quotes, and like not to bring back the Rams again, but you see where Sean McVay just seems so happy to have a quarterback who sort of figures things out. And, like, he gets my offense. We are on, the same page here. And, like, Kyle Shanahan's like, man, can I just get somebody, because I'm good at this, can I just get somebody to accomplish what I draw up? And so in this situation, he at least has two guys where he can split the responsibilities, a little less pressure on a guy, less things to remember, frankly, and just go out there and execute what I ask you to. And while that can work from game to game, for a full season, through a playoffs, like relying on the coach that much and not having the players, the quarterback in particular, that can sort of carry you over when things break down, yeah, that's just not going to work in the long term, which is why this is so frustrating for him.
Yeah, no, they tried to do the whole like, hey, we're going to rotate into quarterbacks like on a pretty close to unprecedented basis. That was Kyle Shanahan's whole pitch to everybody entering the season, and that lasted like a week. And then it got to the place where we always go, which is, do you have a quarterback? Which obviously by the rules of NFL math, if you have two, you can't have one, et cetera, et cetera. But Alabaster, you have an interjection.
Yeah, so Trey Lance had 318 total pass attempts in all of college. So it sort of makes sense why we don't know that he's actually ready or not yet. But the question I have for you is, Kyle Shanahan's been in charge of all of this. Are we sure he's actually good? He has under a 450 winning percentage.
We always put that conversation onto Jimmy G, right? We say, well, is he good, as if he's the one responsible for all of this? But no, you're right. It is Kyle.
I think head coaches would admit that to a man, they all owe money to their players because they are made and broken by them. Pete Carroll, in a previous quote featured on this episode of Fake Television, said he wouldn't be there if Russell Wilson wasn't there, right? Which,
that's right.
Pete, give Russ a cut. That's, that's college coaches should do that all the time, right? College coaches get big contracts off the back of players who leave and then expose them as being merely good at their jobs, not great. So no, we don't know if Kyle Shanahan's good, but by the way, that extends to quarterbacks. We don't really know if a quarterback's going to be good coming out. I hate to sort of pull the rug out of the entire draft industry, but I thought Josh Allen, no reason Josh Allen should have been good as a pro. None. No indications. No accuracy. Just a big old raw dude, right, from California who played his ball in Wyoming. The bet, if you were to go with data, was no. And he's awesome. He's incredible. I was an idiot. So, we don't know if the coaches are going to work out. We don't know if the QBs are going to work out. So, I don't know if the verdict on him as an offensive coordinator is undeniable. He's incredible at that job. Is he still learning to be a head coach? We always say, oh, man, 5 years, that proves it. Where were you 5 years in your career? This is somebody who really might still be figuring it out with a franchise that, if you'll note, has had big ups and big downs and very little consistency over the past 20 years.
Yeah, there's only 10 people in the world who can play that position especially well, or can make any offensive coordinator feel like they're fully comfortable and, okay, this guy gets it and can accomplish it. Past that, you're rolling the dice, and as somebody who draws up plays all the time, I wish I could play quarterback because then I could, figure out just how difficult this is, because when you draw up the plays, it's seems pretty simple to me. Why can't you do this?
Wait, I love to go back to something Spencer said before we indulge Izzy's comparison of his flag football league to the NFL. Before we get down that road, before Izzy was trying to take us, I wanted to just muse on the idea that, like, actually NFL head coaches should be paying their quarterbacks like in salary cap circumventing ways, like on the dark web. Like, the idea that somewhere like Brian Daboll and Sean McDermott are paying Josh Allen in like
through an Adidas rep somewhere.
Yeah, who's like using some sort of like cryptocurrency. I do think that is justified morally.
Yeah, int coin for INT.
Alabaster. Okay.
Yeah. Well, one more thing before we move on. We, the collective we, the media machine, pressured the Bears so much to play Justin Fields, and we're now doing sort of we're questioning that with Trey Lance. Like, are they just scarring Justin Fields in Chicago at this point?
Well, I think we can just shift everything to Matt Nagy over in Chicago because clearly it's just everything's on fire over there, and he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, I think the assumption of competence is probably the big difference between the Matt Nagy situation and the Shanahan situation, because we've seen Shanahan be incredible at his job. With Matt Nagy, it's just been unending decline on returns. And also, you're Chicago. I think people are just like, yeah, that's the Bears. I don't know, throw a QB at it. Do something.
Yes. But hold on. In fairness to Matt Nagy, who is a terrible coach, clearly at this point.
That doesn't sound fair right there.
No! Troubled. He's a troubled coach, Pablo.
Yeah. On the one hand, he's a deeply troubled coach. But on the other hand, I do think he had a vision of all of this kind of happening. Like, the whole idea of him being so reluctant to play Justin Fields and trying clumsily to convince the media to stop asking for him. Like, I think he kind of knew it might go this way, and he just could not prevent it from happening. It's like a Final Destination thing. Like, he knew this was
it's like, which is worse for your rookie quarterback, getting killed every other week or saying flat out in front of the media, yeah, he's not any good, so I can't play this dude.
How do you as a leader in any situation come to people and go, hey, listen, on this I have a bad situation, and on this hand I have a bad situation. Which bad situation would you like? That doesn't work. No one likes to hear that news, but that's where the Bears are at, and that's probably where the 49ers are at too.
Yeah. Nick Foles won a Super Bowl, man. He should not be disrespected.
Alabaster, before I begin making big bleep Nick jokes, what you got?
All right, guys, it's time to play a game.
Thankfully.
And it's a new game. The new game today is undo your retweet and retweet the show.
This is so sad. This is so
bad. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
One of my favorite processes here.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. Not getting a ton of attention.
There we go.
It does. I've just done it. It also feels like we're about to start luring whatever viewership we have into like a multi-level marketing scheme.
That's fine.
Like, tell one of your friends who tells another one of your friends, and then, hey, for the low price of $1 per segment, you too can be a debatable millionaire.
I just like saying like and subscribe. I don't ever get to say that. That's great. Like and subscribe, y'all.
Like and subscribe. It does scratch an itch inside of me that I do feel like YouTubers have been living, and I do appreciate that.
All right.
When you say y'all, do you like? Are you comfortable with it? Because every time I say y'all, I feel like it was a mistake, and everybody should just like, never mind. You shouldn't have heard that.
No. It comes out. Listen, it's. I think just as a practitioner of y'alldom, it comes out of your mouth just fine. I think it serves it's second person plural. We don't have a great second person plural.
Yeah, right? It's the Vosotros of the American South. That's
right.
Right.
I also can't pull off chow, which is one I'm very jealous of. Like the guys, women too, who can pull off chow. Impressive.
Izzy, I have faith in you. I have faith in you that you one day can become a chow guy. I do think that's possible. Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a go. Maybe we'll see what happens.
All right, our first quote in Who Done It, the game where we give you a quote, you tell us in a minute as a unit who done it. First one is, protect that ball. Protect it. Oh, what the bleep. Your choices are A, Marshawn Lynch, B, Eli Manning, C, Mina Kimes, or D, Brian Flores.
Wow, Mina's a great option.
Mina is option. Yeah, she's also a red herring here. That is.
Yep.
Yeah, because
It's a telling.
Somebody that would randomly curse, I'm assuming this happened over the air of some sort, randomly curse, I think she's on that list.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's a red herring because look, guys, we can win this game. Let's give up the charade. It's Marshawn. It's Marshawn.
A.
Yes. A.
The only reason I
final
forgot
answer.
is-
So, Marshawn, by the way, shout out to Marshawn for broadcasting like this. What was his angle there? He was just basically just kind of watching this way, riding side saddle on it, and also
snacks.
is congenitally it's impossible for him to be boring. He could say nothing, obviously, as we learned during the Super Bowl press conference saga, and be the most interesting person in the world.
I think America will figure out that was not an apology from Marshawn, and that's what you're going to get if you turn on a camera, right? If you've seen, there's a clip of him from high school where he's on camera and they're like, "What are you going to do?" And he's like, "Oh, listen, man, I'm going to take all of my offensive linemen out to Sizzler right now. Sizzler." The mic is on and he is just going. That is who he's always been. That is who he will always be. 3 shots of Hennessy or not.
So the Hennessy thing,
if you were to take 2 or 3 shots of anything, 15 minutes before the show, Pablo, would we notice a difference for the hour?
I mean, number one, speaking of congenital reactions, I would be entirely red because I have that. I would be Asian glowing all over the internet. Secondly, what I had been told previously, which is something that I do need to follow up with Marshawn about, I had been told a story by Shane Battier at a Sloan Sports Analytics conference, which arguably is the beginning of a sentence that should never end with a predicate involving Marshawn Lynch. I do agree.
That is the nerdiest thing that you have said in the past 2 minutes.
But what Shane Battier told me was that Marshawn had once convinced him to take a shot. Oh, no, sorry. This was Greg Oden, who had told him, because the Miami Heat, had told him about what Marshawn Lynch used to drink. And what I was told was that it's not just Hennessy. Marshawn also likes Patronacy, which is Patron and Hennessy combined into one.
Wow.
And so that is an investigation journalistically that I would be willing to embark on.
Why call it Patronacy and not Henatron? Henatron sounds so much more badass. Yeah.
That's so much better. Yeah, the
Except
least
nobody
responsible.
will know what you're drinking.
Yeah.
The
or what
least
you're doing.
responsible transformer is Henatron.
Henatron is what got Optimus Prime killed. He was on duty. Henatron
Every
was like,
time
I
he
was
transforms
late.
to a car, automatic DUI.
Automatic DUI, just gets pulled over, right? He's like, this planet sucks. People don't believe in freedom. Izzy, would we
Wakes
notice
up the next morning, has to check his backup cam to see what he did last night.
That's right. There's a lot of Russian live leak footage with Henatron appearing in it. Yep.
Henatron's banned in like 83 countries. Can't drive anywhere. Had to change it. They got to take him around on a trailer, right? He's got to just ride on the back of Optimus Prime.
Who's voicing that one? Who does the
Marshawn Lynch is the voice of Henatron.
Bobcat Goldthwait, if you want to go old school, or Charlie Day. Charlie Day would be good for that as well.
Yep.
Izzy,
thank you for making me feel young with the Bobcat reference. Spencer.
there you go. No,
Wow.
I had to give. You see, I had to give 2 tiers,
name
right?
for
The
my
old
time.
and then the one that people might actually recognize. Izzy, would we notice if you'd had 3 shots prior to the show?
Yeah, I'd probably fall off a scooter again if I did that before the show somehow.
Wait, Spencer,
Yeah,
though, I feel
I'd be way more confident. I would definitely interject way more than I should.
Yeah, it's 12:59 and Izzy's shirt has not come off yet. Obviously, he is very sober at the current moment. Spencer, I do feel like this is you working your way around to us asking you about your tolerance. So, what is Spencer Hall's tolerance like?
How do you know I didn't have 3 shots before the show today? I think it's just a body weight thing, you know. Like if you're north of 200 pounds, like honestly, like given his body comp and size for Marshawn Lynch, he's gonna feel it, but you know he'll be all right on 3 shots. You know, if you're like 150 pounds and you take 3 shots, oh, you're gonna turn into Henatron. It's gonna get ugly.
It probably depends. Sometimes you got those little shot glasses that are sort of visually tricky, right? Because they look like they're full, and it's just like that much in there. You could probably do 3 of those in no time.
Yeah, see? All about context.
Alabaster, if you took 3 shots before today's show, would we notice?
Cards
Oh, yeah,
all
my
crooked.
I'd be extra handsy. First, next quote. I'd want to play Dolph Shays first, so I could beat his bleep and be on the top 75 list. And your choices are A, Jimmy Butler, B, JJ Redick, C, Rajon Rondo, or D, Dwight Howard.
Wow.
This one's unfair because I know this one, but I'm going to let you guys work this one out because there's a funny element to it.
It's not Dwight. It's not Dwight.
It's not Dwight.
If this didn't come out
No
sideways, right? Dwight would have said something that just kind of came out sideways. So, yeah, it's not
Yep.
Dwight.
No, this is too deliberately incisive an observation. Rondo...
I don't think Rajon Rondo can beat Dolph Shays one-on-one. I'm kidding.
I mean, look, this has Jimmy Butler written all over it. I'm going to say that. If I'm profiling anybody to say something like this, I'm going A, Spencer. That's my vote.
I am too. And Jimmy Butler just seems like he would drop it randomly. So, yeah, go A.
This is coming from someone who has a podcast. Let's hear it.
I'd want to play Dolph Shays first,
Wow.
so I could beat his ass and be on the top 75 list.
Wow.
Wow. What
The
I didn't
funniest thing
anticipate...
about that.
Ugh.
Sorry, go ahead.
What I didn't anticipate there, Izzy, was that, of course, JJ Redick sees Dolph Shays and is like, that could have been me in very real terms had I existed in that era.
He's on my block, right? He's on my block.
There was a tweet of that. There was that 38%. There was a tweet of JJ's quote, and somebody followed it up with JJ doesn't want this smoke, and it's Dolph Shays highlights, and it's just 20-footers with the entire arena just staring at him, nobody closing out, and it's just like swish, and he's like sweeping hook shots where you know he missed 5 of those right before that, but they caught the video on the one, and it's just like, man, this era comparison, this top 75, that's gotta tick up. Like if Klay Thompson spent 10 minutes watching that video, you would probably be like on some sort of suicide watch. Like those old school days are just so frustrating to watch.
Izzy, you've fallen in my favorite corner of the internet, which is NBA Twitter trashes legendary old NBA players. It is the best part of Twitter. It is the greatest. Tyler I Am has done classic after classic on Bob Cousy.
Yep.
The minute Bob Cousy highlights go up, the slander just floods the timeline. It's beautiful.
And all these guys all they did was be the best in their profession at their time. That's all you can do.
The best,
and yet they lived long enough to be terrible.
They were the best anyone had ever seen. But there are caveats that are important in the historical record, because I've just Wikipedia'd Dolph Shays to respect his legacy. And there is one sentence that I want to read for you guys. Quote, this is about his NBA career. Early in Shay's career, he broke his right arm and played almost an entire season in a cast. He actually played
He must have been the best screen setter in the league the rest of that year.
Who?
I mean, what do you need the offhand for? They only shoot with their one hand.
I was going to say,
dribble with one hand behind your back? It's all perfect.
I'm going to look back, by the way. I'm just going to make up some history here. Pretty sure 2 members of the 90s Knicks also did this. Pretty sure at one point Charles Oakley did this. Not because he had a broken arm, but because he wanted a club.
Dolph Shays definitely sounds like a guy who played with a broken arm, regardless of what he did. He worked with a broken arm.
Also here, don't be the guy who's like, yeah, I'll challenge Dolph Shays. We invent time travel. Dolph Shays schools you. Just comes up and burns you to the ground one-on-one. Don't be that guy. Don't. I'm not making that bet.
I do not know how to defend 20-foot hook shots. I do not know how to defend that. You got me.
Yeah, the physics of this two-handed, flat-footed set shot are incomprehensible to modern players. He has an advantage.
Does anybody else pick the Rick Barry free throw style on 2K just because? On your my
Wait,
career?
that's selectable now on 2K?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, you can totally do the underhand Rick Barry one. Right now, currently, I have the Jason Kidd, hip tap and then blow a kiss. I evolved from the Gilbert Arenas around the back a couple of times, but I think the way to go is, Rick Barry. It's just too interesting.
I do like the idea. Oh, wait, Alabaster, what do you got?
Izzy, I know you want to say it. Do you think you could have beaten prime Bob Cousy in one-on-one.
I do. Yeah.
As somebody to this day can't handle the ball better than Bob Cousy, yes, I still think I could have beaten him. Yes. He can't handle this post-up game. How tall is Bob Cousy?
Bob Cousy was like 6 flat. What was he?
On the internet, Bob Cousy is like 5'3". That's how tall Bob Cousy is on the internet.
Because in my prime, I was backing down 6'4" dudes and still hitting fadeaways over them. So
I would say that Izzy has, as vascularity goes, as veins and arms go, Izzy outnumbers Bob Cousy like 19,000 to 1, I would say. Based on file footage of Bob Cousy, Izzy Gutierrez is kicking Bob Cousy's ass in so many different physical contexts.
I would like to spend a day in the gym with Kuz, see what that feels like. Bob Cousy, just to be clear, not you, Kyle Kuzma.
By the way, you want to see the advantages?
By the way,
you want to see the advantages of live television? By the way,
no.
I'm going to shut the door
Spencer,
because the yard guy showed
up. We can't
up.
hear you, Spencer.
Yeah, no.
So many people at home are just like, God, I love this. This has happened to me so many times, and to watch it happen.
There we go.
Okay, no, I have to go shut the door because there's a man with a leaf blower that I did not anticipate right outside. So you're getting the joy of live TV. Pardon me.
Do it.
No problem. I got
meantime,
construction going on above me, so if you hear anything, my apologies.
In the meantime, Izzy, I feel like it's important to point out that Bob Cousy, born August 9th, 1928, is still alive.
Thank goodness.
93
I was just thinking about
years
that. I was
old.
like, man, can I get him in the gym? Is he still with us? Thankfully, he is. Hopefully he's not watching this, though, because
I was going to say, Spencer, we just learned while you were gone that Bob Cousy, age 93, is very much still alive and possibly furiously yelling at the magical box that has 3 of us inside of it.
That leaf blower guy, not alive anymore, though.
No.
Just went and took care of that.
For the record, Bob Cousy at 93 could still school me. I will give him that. He could totally school me one-on-one at 93.
Good news is Spencer did kill that leaf blower, or at least knows where he can escape to. Tunisia, maybe.
Laos.
That's right.
You guys ready for another game?
Let's do it.
I feel like we infuriated
Bob
Ryan
Ryan
enough with
calls
that
it.
first. All right, and our first one. We have sound here, so we'll let you listen to it, but you have to guess first. Our first question is, what are the chances Mike Tomlin changes his mind about the USC job?
Oh, he's not going. It's not happening.
I'm going to assume that his mind is he's not going, right? So that he's saying he's not going to go. So you're putting that at. I mean, it's L.A.
Well,
I mean, he's been at Pittsburgh for a minute. I give it at least like a 5% chance.
Do you want to recruit? Do you want to just have to have a social media relationship with like 100 high school athletes at a time? Like that's the thing is that USC needs a recruiter. That is one of the things that got Clay Helton fired. That is the root of their decline. And you try to tell me Mike Tomlin, who's coming off of 20 years of just worrying about football, is going to roll in and be like, sure, get me the Facebook account. I would love to do the twit face. No, he's not going to do that.
So I believe Spencer is right that like recruits would look at his war stories about Ben Roethlisberger like us hearing stories about Bob Cousy. I do believe that we're at that point generationally. I do, though, will select 10% just because I feel like that's what an agent fee is. And, you know, plausible interest is a useful thing no matter what your contractual status is at any given moment. So what do we got?
I don't have time for that speculation. I mean, that's a joke to me. I got one of the best jobs in all of professional sport. Why would I have any interest in coaching college football? That'll be the last time that I address it. And not only today, but moving forward. Never say never, but never. Okay? Anybody else got any questions about any college jobs? There's not a booster with a big enough blank check.
Anyone else?
Wow. All right. Thank you. Anybody asking Sean Payton about that? You know, anybody asking Andy Reid about stuff like that?
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is fire.
Yep.
Can I change mine to negative 5%, please?
Actually, hearing that, I kind of want to up it now. Like he was
Thank you.
He was so adamant about it. I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe there's something to it.
Methinks the coach doth protest too much, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I do love the idea of the PR guy in the background asking any other questions and then just dead echoing silence. Like everyone was like, "Oh, yep, nope, don't want to be in this viral video. No, thank you."
He's got a point.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good point. Like, I never even thought about that, but it's just such an insult. It's like, there's not many guys that are good at this job. I've been good at it for a long time now. Why are you asking me if I want to leave for a less impressive job? It might be higher paying, but it's more of a pain in the ass. So, yeah, it's kind of insulting.
Yeah, although I did just think about Andy Reid at USC, and that is an amazing idea. An astonishing idea.
Yes, no, the racial backhanded implications of the compliment that allegedly is being paid to Mike Tomlin. Hey, you might be good for USC. Thanks, Carson Palmer, who apparently told this to Dan Patrick. All of that aside, I do want to see Andy Reid in living rooms. I want that.
There's only
I
one.
want him.
One person funnier. Only one person funnier, and that's Bill Belichick. The idea of Bill Belichick going recruiting. Oh, please, let's see that charm.
No, Bill Belichick like doing the gritty, like a TikTok dance. Yes, absolutely.
Bill Belichick is an assistant coach to Nick Saban, and them going into living rooms together. I think that is probably the best time Bill Belichick will ever have.
We'll take you to a Pink Floyd show. Remember, Bill Belichick and Nick Saban in 1994 went to a Pink Floyd show together. It's my favorite football fact of all time.
Can we get a feature film that's premised on that night?
Just that night.
Part of the feature film script has to be the fact that they both are on LSD. Like that scenario specifically, groove into Pink Floyd and disassociating is what I want.
It's funnier to me if they're not, because they're sitting there going, "Yeah, this song's about time. Time's fascinating, isn't it, Bill?" Like if they're just talking, they're just vibing about the universe for 2 hours, and then
it just shifts over to time management, and then coaching, and then it's oh my God, we were meant to do this. We have figured out the secrets of football.
All fits together.
Just a wildly literalist interpretation of Pink Floyd. Oh, that's amazing.
Trying to figure out who would play those two in a movie. It would be like a young version of Robert De Niro, right? Kind of like The Irishman, where they try to make him look a little younger.
They'd play themselves in my film. They would play themselves and just read off a script. They wouldn't even have cue cards.
Kevin Costner plays both of them in my film with very limited defect technology.
All right, our next quote. Our next what are the chances? No video on this one. This is just more of a macro question about Atlanta. What are the chances the Braves don't choke in the World Series?
This is so unfair. This is so unfair. This is a team with Acuna out since July, not coming back, obviously. Made it to the World Series, and the first thing we talk about is their choking history with a bunch of people. I mean, obviously they did it last year up 3-1, but come on, they haven't been here since '99. They kind of took care of the choking thing in the NLCS, didn't they? Are we going back a full generation to make fun of this team?
No, Izzy, as you may have learned, everybody's baseball references, because baseball is a sport that trends older, all of our references are stuck in the 90s. To me, Bobby Cox is still managing this team, even though it's not. Even though it's that guy, Snitker. Obviously,
yeah.
Ted Turner, you listen and read, references, Ted Turner still pops up. No, we're still doing this. We're very much still doing this.
I mean, they can't choke. They can't. They're lucky to be there, right? And I don't think, no one in Atlanta, by the way, in their heart of hearts, expects them to win. Don't. Now, I will say this. I live in Atlanta. I've never been foolish enough to invest in an Atlanta team, ever, right? Atlanta United is the only team that has ever actually delivered on the promise of anything in this town, right? And the Braves did once, back in the 90s. That's it. Which, that ain't fresh enough. It's close, but it ain't fresh enough. I don't think anyone has any expectations. I don't. I think they're just happy that, Jock Peterson's out there wearing pearls.
I wonder though, is a delight. It's a delight. I mean, on that level, it does. I didn't see Jock. So apparently, Jock Peterson, I had Passing on the podcast on ESPN Daily today, previewing the World Series with actual baseball insight. Listen to that if you want actual baseball insight. But the idea that that dude who's kind of a C-ball, hit ball, caveman guy is accidentally the Lil Nas X of Major League Baseball, gender bending, fashion is kind of amazing. And I want that post-game press conference. I want that post-game celebratory World Series winning press conference from Jock Peterson.
You combine that with the fact that his name is Jock, it's just perfectly odd.
He also does have a nickname that Pablo will undoubtedly use on air accidentally a couple of times. It's something that rhymes with jock, very much along the Nick Foles line that people enjoy yelling at him, because we can't have anything here that you can't yell. We can't have any
Peterson.
Right, big. Yeah, and you can't have anything here that you can't yell out at a golf tournament. It's just a rule of Georgia athletics. You got to be able to yell it out after they hit the ball, right? I also want this because I just want to see a bunch of Bubbas wearing pearls. That's it. I just want to see somebody who's like, yeah, I got Carhartt on and pearls because I'm supporting the Braves. That's what I'm about.
TikTok Peterson?
Yes, that's it. That's it. You're seeing the Matrix here.
Nailed it. I say a 0% chance. There's no chance they can choke because they're not the favorites. They can be America's sweethearts by defeating, the cheating Astros, but can't choke.
I have beef with that, by the way, because there should be more cheating in baseball and no one cares. I know that there's 20 people who get really bent about this in baseball, and that industry-wise it's a problem. But God, I love it when people cheat in baseball because it's always the most petty thing. It's like, what? Yeah, we had someone in the stands. And they had a flashlight. You're like, I love this. This is such Keystone Cop stuff. Everything that they
Next
do
thing
in
you'll
baseball.
find out is in Houston, the first base bag is 1 inch closer.
Right.
And that's why they keep beating out those little ground balls. Yeah, more cheating like that, I think, is perfect.
What did we do? We filled a bat with cork or with rubber balls, and it turns out that science says this doesn't work at all. It's always the stupidest form of cheating, and I love it. Back in the day, the Chicago Cubs had a player, Mike Kelly, who would cut from first to third. He just skipped second because they only had one ump on the field, and they would do the WWE thing where they would, hey, there's a fight in the stands, and the ref would look, right? And then he'd just cut from first to third. I love that. It's an American tradition. There should be more of it.
I also love that cheating in baseball is just it involves lathering yourself in goop. It's just gross. It's just your neck is just covered in tar and saliva. That's not even a joke. It's a mixture of tar and saliva. That's getting one over on the next guy, is doing that to yourself.
It's amazing.
So, in conclusion, I will say 69% in the case that someone wants to screenshot this. We'll get some content out of it. But other than that, I think you get the general gist of our feelings.
Just leaving it up there for a second so people could screenshot it. All right.
Thank you.
I like how Alabaster does his nines. He starts at the bottom and circles back up. It's very unique, I think.
Next topic.
It's true to the metaphor.
We've got a video daily double here, and our question is, what are the chances that Finnish Lauri Markkanen had a better dunk last night than Jaylen Brown?
I feel like you threw Finnish in there trying to taint the jury pool, Alabaster, to be honest with you. We caught that. That was not slick.
Before we even guess here, what team is Markkanen play on?
Is it the Cavs?
Close.
Close?
Bulls?
Yeah, it's very close.
Bulls?
It's the Cavs.
Goodness!
Oh, Lord.
Here's the best part about this, okay? Not only did he dunked on the MVP, right? That's Nikola Jokic. Nikola basically got in the please dunk on me position with both feet inside of the restricted area, okay?
Correct.
Just basically asking for it. It's the first play of the game. It's 0-0, and he starts off by dunking on the MVP. It's absolutely amazing. You can't start off the game better than that.
That is a very big action movie. We're just gonna show you the best thing in the trailer. Forget it. It's gonna happen. No, the submarine in Fast 15 or whatever. No, you're gonna know. No, we're gonna get that first.
Yeah. By the way, Izzy, you've never seen a Fast and Furious movie, right? Not one.
Never. Not a one.
How is that even possible? Accidentally, you haven't seen one?
I saw a lot of trailers. I saw as many, Paul Walker scenes as possible, but no, I have not seen the entire movie at all. No. By the way, Nikola Jokic. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Nikola Jokic, if his brothers saw Lauri do that to him, they would absolutely kick his ass. I saw his brothers at his MVP ceremony. I was intimidated by them.
Because his brothers look like Fast and Furious characters, stop evading the actual premise of this topic, which is prosecution that you failed to actually indulge one of the great cultural events of our lifetime.
It feels like a lot of work. There's 9 of them. Like, I haven't even seen an episode of The Sopranos first. I feel like that should be my starting point before I make the jump to the Fast and Furious. I mean...
You're about to go on a journey, man. A long and beautiful journey about family.
Sorry, I had to interject here. There are actually 10, including Hobbs and Shaw. Important statistical correction.
Wow. That's right. No, because
It's
the
not
Fast
canon.
and Furious cinematic universe. Yep. There's canon. There also is there's the Fast and Furious Presents series, right? They're gonna just have sort of like how Hobbit is not technically in it's sort of the canonical Lord of the Rings. There's a anyway. The point is,
Which one's Hobbit?
I guess.
Hobbit and Shaw, the crossover, yeah.
That's right. Was there another dunk that we should look at?
Yeah, that's Jaylen Brown's dunk if you want to see it. I mean, it's Jaylen Brown, who's the current day Dominique Wilkins, essentially. He is. Was that Bridges? Who'd he dunk that over? I mean, it's okay. Jaylen has had quite
Miles
a few.
Bridges.
It wasn't, dunking on the MVP at the start of the game. Okay.
I'm gonna give this to Helsinki. Let's. Yeah, Laura Markkanen doing that. Laura Markkanen doing that over Golden Corral himself.
Yes.
Yeah, no, you win.
And the Finnish judge has the final say on this one, and I agree.
100, baby.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we're gonna go 3 straight on this. All 10s from the judges. 100%. It was to Izzy's point, and I know the Jaylen Brown dunk that happened in a very crucial part of the game, late in the game, the opposite of the Markkanen dunk, which was just meaningless because it happened so soon. Jokic doing the thing where he's guarding his junk as if Lauri Markkanen's gonna hit him there.
That's a free kick.
It's always
not
funny to me.
This set play is never going to work. Oh, no. Oh, the worst, honestly, who got dunked on the worst? Oh, my God, I hope we have video of this. Kelly Olynyk got dunked on by John Collins in a way that he had no idea it was coming. His back was to it, and after he was on the floor, gave the look like, what just happened? And yeah, he just got yammed on by John Collins as I lose one of my earpieces. Be right back.
He had the traffic accident dunk, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the speeding bus.
He's going to make a play. He thinks he's making a play on one side, alley-oop on your neck on the other. That was by far the worst. But it's Kelly Olynyk and it's Detroit, so we give him a pass.
Yeah, luckily I don't think our producers have that, which is going to be very good news for the Olynyk family. Yeah.
Kyle, here's another dunk that we missed over the weekend that I don't know why people aren't talking about. Pretty sure Mo
There were so
Wagner
many
ended
dunks.
Obi Toppin. Mo Wagner ended Obi Toppin's run as a Knick with potential when he just yammed on him like he wasn't even there.
That, by the way, that has a multiplier because it's a dunk on a Knick. So thus, every dunk on a Knick in terms of internet history gains a power of 10. It becomes so much worse.
How dare you, Izzy, not call him by his given name? Mo Wagner.
Sorry,
Wagner. Come
and
on,
there's 2
man.
Wagners on that team cutting it up.
A Franz, right? Is it Franz Wagner?
A Franz and a Mo, yeah.
Hey,
Told me, I can't remember who it was. Somebody told me Mo Wagner was going to be some assistant coach, maybe with the Lakers, just said, hey, this nice guy's name's Mo. He's going to be one of the best players in the NBA of all time.
No.
I was like, what?
They said we need Mo Wagner, and they drafted Franz Wagner.
Hey, you can get all the Wagners you want, but you still won't get a ring, Pablo. Get it? Did you get an opera joke on here?
Wow,
We just got an opera
I did.
joke. Yeah.
I cannot believe that's Spencer Hall. We went from Henetron to a Wagner operatic illusion, which is just, that's impressive. Yeah, when you can get a German language epic composed by Wagner referenced on our program, you've done well, Alabaster. Can we top that in any possible way?
We have one more. What are the chances? And it is, what are the chances that Pablo has ever held a football before?
All right, this is clearly
Yeah,
already bullshit.
My area. By the way, a little behind this curtain, during rehearsals, we were supposed to have things over here where we wrote the percentages on our own little whiteboard. So I'm going to do that and say 0%. This is the list of...
Oh, shocking. Yeah, shocking that my friends are giving me a 0% next to your list of non-extraditable countries that you've written down for yourself.
I'll give you more as a trade-off if you tell me what Jason Sudeikis smells like. I'll give you 1% more.
Ooh, I bet he
Give
smells
me
like
some finer details.
I bet he smells like cologne they don't sell at the store. That's my guess.
Yeah,
At the very least.
My favorite thing, by the way, about doing the thing where I go to a basketball game sometime with Jason Sudeikis is people are like, "Wow, how did you become friends with him?" It's sort of like, how did you marry her? Like, I don't know, guys have a good personality. Like, is that so hard to believe?
No, it's about where you meet these people. Nobody meets Ted Lasso at their local Starbucks, okay? Like, you got to go to the secret party and you have to know the code word, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm friends with Jason Sudeikis and going to a game. But come on, don't act like this is just everybody can do this type of situation.
That's just how life is in New York, Izzy. Just, lunch with Sudeikis.
Yeah, right?
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, Izzy. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, alongside those Venetian eyed wide shut masks.
He keeps trying to change the subject. Can we see him holding a football? Or Spencer, I need your guess here because it doesn't sound too promising.
He did go to Ivy League powerhouse Harvard.
That's right.
Who suffered?
I never knew that.
Who suffered? Yeah, me neither. I didn't know who Jason Sudeikis was until I know that he's friends with Pablo. I would say that because he went to a school that, suffered an 18-16 defeat in, I believe, the 4th or 5th overtime against against Princeton this past weekend. Tigers.
By the way, the refs admitted they were wrong, by the way. There's a whole email circulating, so.
That's wild that y'all would want a ticket to Debate Club instead of settling it on the field. That's a 15% chance, okay, that Pablo has properly held a football before. I'll put the adverb. I'm going to give you 15.
Great.
I was actually president of my debate club in high school.
There it is.
There we go.
So listen.
Totally
guys,
natural hold there.
Who
invited you to the Heisman House anyway?
What's so unbelievable about a guy holding a football while leaning up against a truck that he clearly has driven
Is that the first time you've ever leaned up against a truck?
Guys, this is a totally
That's the first time he's worn jeans and put his hand in his pocket too.
Totally normal human vehicle interaction. Find a new slant. This is how.
You look like
I just caught this football. I'm just gonna casually lean against this truck here.
You look like you're mounting. You look like you're mounting a really spectacularly ineffective campaign for Senate in rural Ohio. Totally normal guy, Pablo Torre. Vote for the people's candidate.
Just need to stand on a crate and start talking to people.
I heard the Buckeye State loves trucks. So to answer the question, 100% chance. Of course, I've held a football before. Come on, guys. What is this?
Have you ever, and this is a difficult question for you, Pablo. Have you ever felt more like a nerd than being in the Heisman House?
No, I mean, let's be very real about something. After I leaned on that truck, which Spencer's suspicions, I had done 0 times before in my life, shockingly. I shook hands with Joe Theismann, who I was interviewing at the Heisman House, and his handshake almost broke my hand. So, no, the answer is I have never felt like more of a nerd. That's right. Me, Jason Sudeikis, Pete Davidson, and Joe Theismann. That was my weekend, guys. That is the life that I live. And then we drove off in a blue truck, which I definitely know how to operate. He was sitting on the other side of me at the Nets game, which is a thing that then led to people asking me, how do I know Pete Davidson? I did not. Never met him before in my life.
By the way, do the Nets have fans? I heard somewhere where you can get tickets pretty cheap to a Brooklyn Nets game.
That's a deal. No, that's good. Yeah, that's a deal. Go be a Nets fan. Like always take the cheap ticket. Get in on the ground floor so you can look cool later.
I will point this out too, now that Izzy points it out. Like, the Sixers, as much as I do still have allegiance to you guys have done nothing for me recently, and the Nets are obviously improving. What's the thing? My Q rating. My Q rating. Is that still a metric? It's off the charts lately. And you guys in Philadelphia have done nothing. So Daryl Morey, just know that you are on notice. I am available to be bought, and you guys are
saying the
failing
Sixers aren't the cool thing anymore, and you're moving on to Brooklyn?
That sounds like what he's doing, yeah.
I'm just saying that if this is the Jim Gray interview where I announce my decision, where I take my talents, this is
You got to be careful, though, because that right there is what James Harden
great.
feels like after every game now, because they changed the game in the middle of his prime, and now all he can do is sit there and cry about not getting foul calls. So be careful with your new team there. All right.
Yeah. No, I'll be at a Boys and Girls Club in Greenwich, Connecticut, announcing my decision before the regular season is over. That's the pace we're on.
Be careful though. KD's waiting for you on Twitter. Don't even say anything. Don't even mention him. Don't. He'll just leap in. He leapt in and called Dragonfly Jones a casual for no reason. To which Dragonfly Jones replied, "A vaccinated casual."
That was Dragonfly Jones? I didn't even notice that. That's so funny.
Yeah. And he didn't even say anything. He was like, "Oh, Kyrie's he was like, "Oh man, like he's a great player, but he's also the player that basketball players like, right? He's like a hooper's hooper. That's what kind of game he has." Nothing but compliments. And KD Trey just comes in like, "'Cause you a casual." What?
And then Dragonfly Jones reminded him that he is beholden to none of the strictures around making news cycles.
None.
Like Kevin Durant was like, "Oh, right, I can't actually engage with this. Otherwise, this is actually going to be a national story." And at that point, you've realized like you've gone at somebody that you should not have challenged.
No,
Do you feel like this is karma, though, for KD? Like, he's got to be even more ticked off. Like, last year he was being lauded for creating this new age super team, unstoppable, coming back from an Achilles injury, yada, yada, yada. Now he's got one teammate who can't play because he's got his own decisions, his own choices. And then you've got the other teammate who they literally changed the rules so he can't be as great. And now all of a sudden you're a big one with a little bit of help and a guy who never shows up. Like, that's got to be really frustrating for Kevin Durant.
You know how you get that frustration out, Izzy? Hit the burners. Hit those burner accounts, baby.
Yes.
Let it fly on the burners.
Definitely pain relief. That's a form of pain relief right there.
That is like what Dragonfly Jones did was really lay out a glue trap for a Kevin Durant burner. You're absolutely right. If nothing gets this out of hiding, like nothing would get this out of hiding like that particular interaction. Oh my God. Alabaster,
Oh man, if you want to double down, I'm sorry. And if Russell Westbrook wins a championship, wow, this is
We have one bonus topic that is
I was afraid of
definitely
this
not
topic.
from a burner. No way this is from a burner. Bob Cousy on YouTube commented, "Did you guys try to kill me? I'm still here and I would destroy Izzy in one-on-one."
I'm still here. Put that on a Bob
I'm still
Cousy
here. It's
poster.
great. I will give Bob Cousy the benefit of the doubt. His game, maybe it has evolved over the decades, and maybe he would kick my ass in one-on-one right now. I don't know. So tune in. Let's make it happen, Bob. Circle
Oh my
B.
God. By the way, Presidential Medal of Honor award winner Bob Cousy, I believe. I think he got that in the previous administration.
Yeah.
All sorts of things that are amazing to learn when you Google image Bob Cousy, as I just did.
Yeah, by the way, I have a great, this is Bob looking you up as a hater. I actually have a story I got today from my Lyft driver from the airport. He said that he grew up in Akron. He was at a McDonald's where he was working on Fairline. He was very specific, and said that LeBron's cousin worked with him. And he's just at the fryer, and he's like, "Oh, hey, listen, man, I just don't think your cousin's going to be all that, right? Like, there's tons of basketball players, right? I don't think your cousin's going to be all that." In high school, LeBron got in the Hummer, drove over, and got to that McDonald's and was like, "I heard you don't believe in me." And my Lyft driver, to his credit, was like, "And I was incorrect."
And your Lyft driver was like, "Ever since I was inspired to drive cars professionally."
With my shame.
I wonder when he first started telling that story. Like when LeBron when he was on national television, or like his rookie year? Did he start telling it after he won a couple championships? Because there was a time where he was like, "I was right. Dude hasn't won anything yet."
I actually asked him that, and he's like, "Yeah, he's been in the league for like 4 or 5 seasons." So I was like, "Well, obviously he's pretty good." And I went and he saw him, and it was on some night when like he went off for like 40 points, and he was like, "I think he knew I was there. Like even if he didn't, like what if he did?"
Yeah. In his Hall of Fame speech, that one guy's cousin, or my
guy's
cousin's coworker at McDonald's said, "I wouldn't be anything. Take that."
This for you.
Oh my God.
We have been at this for a while, haven't we?
Izzy, if all of these car references haven't inspired you to watch a Fast and Furious, I don't know what will. We've talked about so many different types of vehicles at this point. Hummers, Penetrons, trucks.
There's something about watching The Rock, which is just intimidating. I mean, being vascular is kind of my thing, my group of friends. Okay,
No,
I
don't
want him showing off his
You
veins.
you won't be right after watching him in Fast 5. It's just not right, man.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't right
Vin
the other day
Diesel.
watching him legs. Looks like he has veins
Izzy,
everywhere.
Vin Diesel agrees with you for what it's worth. I mean, you'll learn that if you
Yeah.
enter the FFCU. Yeah.
Welcome. It's about
Vin guy.
about family. It's about love, and it's about stealing high technology for the right price for some reason.
and extradition.
And extradition. Locales such as Cuba, Venezuela.
Guys, that was wonderful. That was so fun.